Welcome back into Rise Radio. This episode is actually part of the Tapping on Tuesdays series, I guess, where I go live in my portal community, in the portal, and I share on a concept. I also create a super sweet tapping activation around the conversation. So this conversation is all about getting in the room with people who fucking expand you. And of course, what happens when we do, our growth is accelerated. We rise to meet the occasion. Magic happens, in other words. So I hope you enjoy this episode of Tapping on Tuesday. See you inside. Welcome in. If you're someone who wants to move faster, if you're someone who wants to make more of an impact, you want to make more money, you want to have more fun in your life and in your business, this is a conversation for you today. Okay, so welcome in. It is Tuesday. Tuesdays is a day that I come into the portal here, and I come in with a topic that feels really alive in my life, in my business, with my clients, whatever it is. And this one was inspired by the extraordinary weekend mini retreat that's actually coming to a close today. And I come in here and I just share a conversation around this topic. And then I have a tapping session or activation created for you. And I come in here every Tuesday. Basically every Tuesday. And if you're listening on the podcast, I have recently started to put these conversations onto my YouTube channel and onto the podcast over on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And I have really been loving your guys' feedback. So whether you are joining me live here in our group in the portal, over here on Facebook, whether you are listening on the podcast or watching on YouTube, I want you to leave me a comment, okay? I want you to say, hi, how's it going? Or I want you to say, hey, I'm here. Let me know how you are coming in here today. How are you feeling? Are you excited for this conversation? Are you someone who is here who wants to you want to move faster, you want to make more of an impact, you feel in your soul, you're just like ready for your next level. Is that you? Let me know. Are you ready to have more fun in your life and in your business? Are you ready to make a bigger impact? I always attract women who are not here to play by the rules. We're not here to live up to the status quo and, work the 9 to 5, waiting for the weekends, taking that one vacation a year. We seriously live very unconventional lives. That is the type of person I attract in. And so you here watching, there's part of you that is that. Maybe all of you is that. You're speaking directly to me. Let me know in the comments. Okay, so like I said, this conversation was actually inspired by the Extraordinary Weekend mini retreat that we're wrapping up today. And it's this concept that I actually discovered years ago in my previous business. For those of you that don't know, I have been mentoring women in business, entrepreneurial, creative women in the online space for a decade. And so I'm not new to coaching in a business setting in entrepreneurship. It's actually something I really, really love because I do believe that we are naturally entrepreneurs, all of us. We're not meant to have someone else tell us what to do and when to do it and how much it's worth, right? That's our true nature is expansion. Our true nature is creativity and it's freedom, right? And so this is something that I have seen, again and again and again and again, is that it doesn't matter really like the strategy of how you do the thing or, what you're even doing. What actually matters is who you believe you are when you are doing the thing. Okay, and I intentionally called this conversation today, I intentionally called it, hold on, got a weird pinned post happening here. That's okay. You're not registering for the tapping experience. I'm not sure where that came from. But I intentionally gave this conversation this this topic today because I can't even remember like actually what I called it, but it's we are not here to just subscribe, right? We're not here to just play it safe. We want to have fun. We want to grow. We want to get better and be better and do better, right? And strategy is often what we've been taught is the secret, right? The secret to actually doing the thing is you got to know some strategy, right? And you've got to work really hard. And so most of us have these beliefs that if we want success, we need to work really hard. It needs to take a long time and effort. And if we want to progress, we need to work harder, right? And then comes this like resistance because we're like, well, I'm tired. I don't want to work harder. I have no more time to give. How do I progress if success requires hard work and a lot of effort if I don't have the time and effort and energy and even like desire to work harder? How do I actually progress? And there's this separation that happens, right? And so what I have seen over and over and over again in mentoring women in entrepreneurial settings is that it's not what you do. There is no strategy, right? Every strategy that someone tries to tell you is real was made up by somebody else, even them. And maybe it's working for them, and that's awesome because when we really come down to the root of it, we create our reality through our beliefs. If you believe your strategy is the best thing since fucking sliced bread on this planet, guess what's going to be your truth? Amazing. But if you believe that someone else's strategy or you're lacking some sort of a strategy to actually progress, so there's got to be something you're missing, you're going to be always looking for that thing that you are missing, right? So in the weekend, the extraordinary weekend that just passed, I spoke on the power of proximity, right? And this is so important. And like I mentioned, I realized this quite a few years ago when I was hosting these weekly calls for my team. And I was like, we're coming together, and these are like mentorship, hot seat coaching calls, group coaching calls, and I am mentoring these women in their businesses, okay? I realized that majority of those women were not coming to the call to learn a strategy or to learn about a product even. Why were they coming to the call? They were coming to the call unconsciously and some consciously because they knew how they felt in my presence and they knew how they felt after the call. And so they continued to show up and to come to these calls, even if their business was not changing, even if they were doing the same things, right? They continued to come to these calls because it changed how they felt inside. And that's everything, because what happens when we change how we feel? We begin to attract differently. We begin to think differently. We begin to even play with our beliefs and question our beliefs. We're getting really intentional, okay? Back then, I wasn't coaching in manifestation. I was coaching in business. And back then, I was coaching on pretty masculine concepts, right? The concept that basically the opposite of what I'm telling you right now. But the really beautiful thing about life is we get to grow and we get to, it is a journey. Life is a journey. And if we believe we need to stay the same or teach on the same concept forever, we are completely delusional because we're always growing. I said the other day, like, I think it was yesterday, I was like, I'm growing so fast and elevating so fast in my own personal awareness, in my own belief in myself, my identity, my self-concept, like, is elevating so quickly that I'm not even who I was 3 days ago, right? I'm not even who I was yesterday. And so anyway, I was very much teaching those concepts back then, and now I've completely developed my own method around coaching spiritual, visionary, creative, entrepreneurial women in business, and it's so much less about strategy. Don't get me wrong, there is some pieces of strategy that we still lean into, right? But strategy actually is trumped by what? By intuition. That is our biggest piece of strategy, our intuition, our ability to trust ourselves. Okay, so the power of proximity, the power of being in close proximity with other women who are intentionally expanding, growing, getting better, showing up as the best of themselves, right? Like deeply committed to elevating their lives, their relationships, their wealth, their businesses, their success, like actually making an impact on this planet. The power of proximity. Proximity is power. Okay, and that's what I want to talk about today. It's so interesting because there's all these sayings of like, you are the sum of the 5 people you surround yourself with. And I want you, I mentioned this yesterday inside the Extraordinary Retreat, right? That I want you to just take a little bit of an inventory, just build awareness right now. Like, who are the 5 people that you spend the most time with? What do their lives look like? What do their results look like? What do their dreams look like? Right? What does their life really look like, and where are they going? What do they want to do? Are they the ones that are, you're sharing like your biggest dreams with, and they're like, yes, let's go. We go together. I'm there with you, which is amazing. Like, that is absolutely very rare, in my opinion, right? To have those people really close to you. Or are they more so like, oh my gosh, I would never tell them because then they would just shut me down right away, right? Anytime I share any of my creative ideas with them, it's very much like a how. What do you mean? That doesn't make sense. Who are you? What about this? And maybe you have built up a little bit of like resistance around sharing who you actually are and actually even like being yourself around these people. And it's almost like you're find yourself existing in 2 realities. You're trying to fit in with your this crowd that you're spending, majority of your time with. And then you're secretly like listening to podcasts on personal development and growth and manifestation and quantum leaping your fucking life. And you're here on this live, and like you're in my world. Maybe you're doing the tapping, and like you're like, I would die if this person found out I was tapping on my face every morning religiously, right? Like, you're living in like this dual reality, and we don't want that. We don't want that at all because it doesn't feel good, right? Another example is existing in your life, right? Going through your life, being what you think is yourself, and then online, being this elevated version of you. And then you have this separation between like who you are trying to be online, and then in your life, you're like being who you believe you have to be. Does that make sense? And what's actually happening there is the truth of who you are is up to you to decide. It's not what life told you you are. It's not what your mom told you you are, or like what happened, or what results or credentials you have, or like any of that, any of your circumstances and your situations. That's not who you are. Who you are, you actually get to decide, and you get to choose. Excuse me, in your imagination. Okay, your imagination is your number 1 business tool. It's my number 1 business tool, and it should be yours too. Okay, because that is our truth. Whatever you can see in your imagination and get emotionally involved with, you're excited about it. You're literally like, oh my God, if this was my reality, seriously? How amazing would that be? That is your truth. That is your truth. Okay, so if you are in, let's bring it back to that second example there. If you are an entrepreneur and you're in the online space and you're showing up in a certain way, and you're like, I'm feeling so fucking turned on and expanded by this message, by this whole brand, by this movement, this revolution that I'm creating, right? We're not just here on a mission. We're not on this mission. A mission is like a solo thing. It's a solo mission. That's not what we're here to do. We're here to build massive community, right? And so it's not like a mission. It's not even a movement. A movement's kind of even a little bit like like less than, right? A movement's like, oh, we're here to build a fucking revolution. At least I am. Are you? Right? A revolution is magnetic. It is magnificent. And when we are doing that in the online space without the layers, right? Okay, so the layers are other people's, maybe the fears of judgment, the projections, the ideas that other people told us, the circumstances, what happened last time, like all of these layers are like different moving pieces in our own identity and who we believe we are. And they show up unconsciously, mostly, some consciously, right? When we build awareness around it, it becomes a conscious idea, right? And once it's a conscious idea, then we can choose to free it from our body. That's where tapping comes in. Okay, but when we are in the online space or moving through whatever, when we're in our business, for the sake of this example, we are most of the time hiding, limiting ourselves, playing up to other people's expectations, right? We are showing up in a way that is not actually us, right? But if you feel like you're trying to break out of that and you feel like you can only do it online and you're afraid of other people seeing you, like, oh my gosh, what if he saw me doing this? Or what if my mom was to read this? What if she was to listen to this? What if, like, XYZ? How is that going to impact you and the way you show up online? It's going to impact you a lot, right? You can only block so many people. So the question then is, what are you holding back on, right? What do you believe is stopping you from showing up in your true, authentic self? That is what needs to be addressed, okay? And other people will tell you, it doesn't matter. Just sweep it under the rug, focus on what you do want. Go for it. Feel the fear, do it anyway. Fake it till you make it. It'll disappear. It won't, okay? And I know that from years and years of working with visionary women in this way. And it's really important for us to actually address the thing, address the fear, and address the discomfort, address the like separation, right? Address what we feel is stopping us, blocking us, slowing us down, limiting us in any way. Actually address it and free it from our body. And then once we are freed it from our body and building awareness around it, we actually have ownership over it, right? It no longer owns us, even though there's going to be some times where, maybe we're having a moment and it sneaks back in. It's going to sneak back in. But that's why I teach you my tapping method, the expand method, to help you to free it from your body and to continue to free it from your body. And we're not just, like we were talking about this the other day as well, inside the Extraordinary Retreat and also inside the tapping challenge, actually, is that we're not just like constantly freeing it from our body, freeing it from it, like just like, okay, I don't want this, I don't want this, I don't want this. This is really important to understand, actually, because I think this is where a lot of people get stuck in that cycle of healing and like believing that they're not healed yet because the thing continues to present itself. Okay, it's not a matter of just like, I'm building awareness around this and then letting it go. It's actually then overriding it with the new belief, overriding it with what you do want, the scenario, the situation, the outcome that you do want. You get to override it then, because what we focus on expands. If you're focused on, I'm freeing this from my body, I'm letting it go, it no longer owns me, and we're trying to say I'm healed, I'm healed, I'm healed. No, that doesn't work, because what we focus on always expands. So instead, we want to build that awareness, yes, but then choose, what do I do? What do I do want? What do I want? What do I want? Right? And so what does this have to do with being in, talking about proximity and being in the close proximity with women who are ascending and who are growing? Is because when we feel and know this separation and we try to close the gap on our own and we're trying to, be our true authentic self, and then we have these people around us in our close vicinity, I think that's the word, um, that just are not, they're just not growing at the pace that you want to grow, at least. It's tricky, right? And so what happens, here's the question, what happens when you actually take yourself out of those usual situations, those usual conversations, and put yourself in the room with women who get it and who understand that you're in the middle of a quantum leap and who see your dreams, see your goals, they hear you, and they call you to rise even bigger. What happens when you get yourself in those rooms? It is undeniable. What happens? You transform, you transcend, you grow, you collapse time. That's what happens. Is you become the version of you that you know you're here to be. That is why proximity is power. That's why it is so important to be very intentional with who you give your energy to and who you surround yourself with. I'm not saying, okay, don't hang out with those friends anymore. Don't go to those family gatherings anymore. Like, cut off all ties immediately. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying be more intentional with it. So yeah, maybe that looks like you don't hang out with those friends as much anymore. And instead, you are calling in a higher caliber of person that doesn't make those people less than at all. All I'm saying is when you surround yourself with people who are moving, who are growing, who are intentional about their habits, right? Who are intentional about their life, who take care of their body, for example, right? It changes who you are. When you, as an entrepreneur, get yourself in the rooms with women who are also growing businesses, who are also in the thick of the fucking messy middle, right? They get you. They get you. They understand you. You feel seen. You feel understood. You feel like you belong. And I'm not saying we're creating this like pity party situation. This is such a beautiful thing when you're in the space. I just got off a mastermind call like an hour ago, and I was like, whoa, this is it. Masterminding is the thing. It is the way to collapse time in ways that, private coaching is amazing. It absolutely is. It is so powerful. But masterminding, coming together in community with other powerful women, intentional creative women, entrepreneurial women like yourself, is not a one-sided conversation. It's not a group coaching call where the leader of the conversation is just talking the whole time and answering questions. No, a mastermind is where we come together and we bring all of ourselves together to mastermind, right? I am a mastermind. You have a mastermind. And we bring them together and we elevate together. We hold each other higher. We talk about where we're at and where we're going, and we close that gap together intentionally. Okay, so that is what I mean when I say proximity is power, because when you enter the room, it doesn't matter where you are, where you believe you are, where you believe you want to go, you are going to, what's the word, like acclimate, you're acclimate, I think the word is, you're going to acclimate, you're going to rise to meet the other women in the space. I love this so much because no matter where someone is in their journey, in their awareness, in their in their life, in their business, no matter what level you are at, if you intentionally get yourself in the rooms with women who are ahead of you, or who've been in business longer, who have some of the results that you want, what's going to happen to you and your results? You're going to collapse time. You're going to save yourself a lot of time. And don't get me wrong, like I know that you can ascend and elevate and transform and curate your own method and build your revolution on your own. But is a revolution really done alone? No. And I know that you're here, like I said at the beginning, it's like you're here because you want to move faster. You're here because you want to make more impact. You want to make more money. You want to have more fun in your life, in your business. This is the key. is getting yourself in the room with women who move you. And guess what? It's going to feel uncomfortable. It is going to feel edgy. It's going to feel risky. It's going to feel uncomfortable. That is the point. We have been talking about this concept forever. And it's this, that we have this situation on our hands where discomfort somewhere along the lines was said to be danger, right? This goes back to like even like how our nervous system operates, right? The brain doesn't know the difference between, you know, doing something new, like joining a mastermind, and running from a tiger. Running from a tiger, right? The brain still sends that similar response, and that response is get to safety. Okay, but if we can start to train our mind and show our brain and train our brain and actually build awareness around what discomfort actually is, and in the face of perceived danger, which, you know, if you're in actual physical danger, that's a totally different conversation here. But when we are seriously doing something that expands our self-concept, who we believe we are, who, if we're doing something that pushes the, what's it called, like the beliefs around our level of success, right? If we're always believing that we're still healing, we're not there yet. Okay, what's going to be our result? That, right? But the moment that you go and you actually decide, okay, what if I was healed? What if I was there? And you actually start to take different action, what's going to happen? Your nervous system is going to send that same fear response to your brain, and your brain is going to react and try to get you back to safety. Okay, so discomfort, what is it actually? It's opportunity. It's opportunity to change, to expand, to grow, to discover something new. Comfort is the same. Nothing is changing. Comfort is monotone, it's average, it's I almost said status quo. It's kind of like that, right? Right? It's just like, it just is. Comfort is not growing, but our human nature, our ego as a human being, one of our gifts, so we have an ego. Our ego actually desires, our ego wants, our ego is always craving more, and we've been taught more is bad. So here we are shining a light on it because awareness is the only way to change it, and claiming, actually, I do want fucking more, and I'm ready to own it. And how am I going to own it? And how am I going to create more by having more fun with less effort, no overwhelm, no stress, no figuring it out? How am I going to do that? By getting in the room with other women who are doing that. Okay, so basically what I'm doing here is I'm calling you to fucking rise. I'm calling you out because I know there are some of you here watching or listening to me who have been you've been craving your next level. You've been literally telling yourself things like, I'm bored. There's gotta be more. There's gotta be more to life. There's gotta be, you know I'm here to do something more than this. And in your soul, you're like, oh, I know I'm here to do something more. Okay, you don't actually need anyone outside of you telling you that you're ready. You know this, right? You know this. We know this. All you need to do is actually just decide to see the discomfort for what it is, that opportunity to grow, and to actually lean into it. Okay, if you won't let yourself say yes to something like a mastermind, for example, there are ways that you can actually build up your own self-belief and your own self-image to gently be ready for the mastermind, okay? Because the truth is that you get to choose. If you want to choose right now to invest in yourself and get inside a mastermind that you know will move you, that is led by someone who is where you want to be and is just like fuel for your fucking flame, you can do it right now. No one is stopping you. And what you're going to do when you do choose that is you're going to like catapult yourself onto a completely different time frame. You're going to like shed, like close years potentially off your growth and your ascension. And that's beautiful. But if you're like, I can't actually physically push the buttons, like I'm in freeze mode and feel so exhausted by the idea of actually investing in myself and committing to something like a 6-month mastermind. Okay, no matter how much forcing you do, it is not going to feel good to actually go and do that thing, right? So in that case, there's other opportunities for you to work with your nervous system and begin to gently expand. That is basically my tapping method, by the way, because we don't go from freeze mode to expansion. That is the masculine way. It's like, nope, even though I'm fucking on my period, feel like a bag of shit, right? I feel so overwhelmed by my life. I feel so chaotic and unsure of the direction I want to go in my business, even though I know I'm here for more, even though I know I'm here to make a big impact and speak on stages and write books and fucking do all these beautiful things. There's no amount of forcing and pushing and figuring it out is gonna feel good and close that gap. What needs to happen? This is directly related to my 10 years of experience in coaching women in the online space and entrepreneurship. Like, my gosh, we are our own magnificent creatures that operate very differently from any man I've ever met. Okay? What's the first step in that situation then? Is to address the gap. We don't just go from all of that to let's just fucking power through it and get there and like reverse engineer and have it all planned out and then take massive action every single day. You guys, how does that feel? God damn, it feels exhausting. It feels awful. We don't want that. So when I say you want to have more fun, right? You want to play more. You want to feel more excited and like high on life and like turned on by your like revolution. That is what we do here. That is what we do inside the Quantum Leap Mastermind. But that is not, that's why I have different opportunities for you along the way. If you don't believe you're ready for a mastermind yet, there are other opportunities to work with me, to join into my community, to get into the conversations, get inside the membership, get inside the Expand membership, start tapping, right? I offer Telegram days. Let's hang out on Telegram for a whole day and let's unpack this together so that we can begin to move this energy out of your body, because no amount of forcing and struggling and all of those things are going to help you. Struggle doesn't need to be part of your story. Okay, so I feel like this is kind of like osmosis, right? Like I mentioned yesterday inside the retreat, it's like, I think it's kind of like osmosis. Like when you get yourself in a space where people are moving, people are expanding. Like I saw it the other day inside the 30-day tapping challenge that's happening right now. We are like 7 days, I think, 8 days away from the rest of the challenge, the end of the challenge. And I saw it so clearly, okay? Someone was on a call, on one of the live group coaching calls. She upgraded to a VIP. We have weekly group calls for the VIPs. And she came to the call, and it was the first call she had come to. And she was listening to the girls, sharing their stories, sharing their wins, and like, oh my God, they're just like moving at such a massive, rapid rate and having so much fun and are just like so alive in their bodies and like in their missions and their revolutions, right? And she came on and was actually like, I love all of this so much, but I don't feel ready. I'm just going to continue tapping. I know I'm like, this is like week 1, I think, and maybe week 2. She's like, I'm just going to ground. I'm just going to like, I think it was week 1. She's like, I'm just going to take my time with like the first tapping session inside the challenge is all about soothing the nervous system. Because if we are trying to operate from that fight or flight or fawn, or freeze mode, it doesn't work. So creation only happens when our nervous system is calm and regulated and we feel grounded and that overwhelm is not taking over. Okay, so she came in and voiced that. I'm just going to keep tapping, I'm going to keep doing the things. Okay, not even 2 weeks later, I feel like it was a week and a half, she joins the Extraordinary Retreat, upgrades to VIP, which is a one-on-one immersion with me, and makes some moves. And she was like, I am very uncomfortable right now, but I'm doing it. Okay, what caused her to do that? Not force, not struggle. It's because she was in the room, and she is consciously choosing to be in the room with other women who are moving, other women who are winning. Interesting, right? That's no coincidence. And I'm just so excited for her to continue to grow and expand in this way. And it is 100% related to the expand tapping method that has been helping her to regulate her nervous system, to build massive awareness around her discomfort, around her perceived limitations, right? And then she got herself into these spaces and continues to get herself into these spaces. I would love to see her. Her next step is the mastermind, right? And she gets to choose when she's ready for that. And it gets to be so beautiful and so fun. So what is going to create the most fun in your life? You being your most authentic self. What is an environment that will really support you in being your highest self and continuing to discover who am I here to be, and also continuing to decide this is what I want and this is who I'm actually here to be, right? Getting yourself in the room with other women who are doing that work too. It's pretty obvious, right? So we rise to meet the people we are around, right? If you are, what is that other saying? It's like, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. If you're the smartest person in the room, if you are the most creative person in the room, if you are the most successful person in the room, you're in the wrong fucking room. Okay? So, let's do a tapping. Are you guys ready to level up? I know you are. I know you are. All right. I hope this is working, because I don't know. Facebook Lives are kind of funny sometimes. So let's do some tapping. I created this like awesome tapping activation for you guys that is going to help you to declare and decide that you are ready to level up. Okay, and any resistance that you feel as we are tapping, I want you to write it down, because that's your golden key to unlocking your next level. Those beliefs, whatever you believe is blocking you, stopping you, limiting you in any way, is unpacking that, shining a light on that, and choosing, intentionally choosing, consciously choosing, I no longer believe that, and instead, I believe this. Remember, we have to override it. It's going to change everything. Okay, so even if you're like, oh, leveling up scares the shit out of me right now, I don't know if I'm ready for that, you are ready. And there's some of you in this group who are ready. I know you are. So let's go. I'm going to record here for the membership as well. And if you've never tapped with me before, you're basically just going to repeat after me while copying what I do. Okay, we're tapping on acupressure points, and we are using our voice to give a voice to the voices inside, basically. And for this one, we are doing an activation, which is a expansion tapping. Okay, so like I mentioned before, if you are seriously in that freeze mode and you feel like you can't shift it, this could actually potentially help you, because remember that cycle of healing? I don't know, I'm not ready yet, Like sometimes we just need the reality check that you are fucking ready. And like by saying, I am deciding that I'm ready to level up, actually can shift everything for you. So don't disregard this, is very powerful. Find a comfortable seat when you're ready. Find a comfortable seat. Let's take a deep breath in through the nose And slowly exhale through the straw. I want you to start tapping on the top of your head. Repeat after me. I am deciding that I am ready to level up. I am ready to commit to being the best of myself right here, right now. And whatever has been blocking me, stopping me, or slowing me down in any way, I am now releasing it from my body, from my mind, and my quantum fields. Any fears, any doubts, any perceived limitations are no longer holding me back in any way. Because I'm here to do really big things in my life. And although the idea of leveling up, of committing to my next level, of getting myself in the spaces that I know will expand me, of being seen in my true nature as my authentic self, although all of this kind of scares me and feels pretty uncomfortable, that's okay. Because actually, I know that I'm safe. As I look around, there is no danger around me. I feel my feet solid on the earth. I am totally safe. I am solid. I am grounded. Nothing is coming to get me. And deep down, I know that I'm so ready for these moves. I am so ready for my next level. In my life and in my business. And all I need to do is be myself. Without the layers of other people's bullshit. Without the fear of judgment. Because the version of me that I know I'm here to be, she doesn't fawn or hide. She also doesn't dim her light to please others. She sees fear and discomfort as fucking opportunity, as a gift. And she leans in and she gets curious. And she rises to meet it. And so, I'm gonna go into my day now, inspired and fired up, ready to take new action. In the frequency of being the version of me who doesn't wait. And I'm gonna make the moves that I know will completely collapse time and transform my entire reality. Because I am the only one that gets to choose who I am and when I'm ready. And today, I choose my next level. And I'm so freaking ready. And so it is. Bring one hand on the heart, bring one hand on the belly. Take a deep breath in, close your eyes. And out, nice and slow. Notice how you feel. How you feel. Put it in the comments. Even if you're on the replay, I read every single comment and I want to reply back to you. Even on the podcast, even on YouTube. Let me know, how did that land for you? Are you feeling a shift? Did you notice any resistance come up as we were tapping? So, like I said before, I'm calling you to rise. I'm holding the door open for you because I know there are some of you in here, some of you wherever you are, who are so ready for your next level. You have been praying for it. You have been calling it in. You've been wishing on it. But like, it is, I know I'm here for more. I know this is your opportunity. Okay, we don't get to our next level by waiting. We don't get to our next level by hoping or dreaming. We get to our next level by moving differently. And by, like I said before, the fastest way to have the most fun and grow the quickest, collapse the time, is to intentionally get in the room with other women who are moving. Okay, so it doesn't matter where you are now. It doesn't matter what your business looks like, whether it's online, in person, products, digital assets, whatever it is, services. When you get yourself in the room with other women who are intentionally ascending, intentionally getting better, being better, constantly building awareness, enjoying their fucking lives, discovering every single day something new about themselves, and deciding this is who I am today. Every morning, waking up, I choose this, I choose this, I choose this. If you want to be in that space, I want to invite you to apply to be in the Quantum Leap Mastermind. Doors are now open. There are 10 spots for women who are claiming their quantum leap. So this mastermind is where strategy meets nervous system mastery. We do not dismiss the strategy. We also definitely do not dismiss the fact that we are emotional beings and our emotions are actually our superpowers, especially as creative visionaries. And I'm going to lead you through mastering your nervous system while discovering your own unique strategy that is completely connected to your intuition. Okay, this is where expansion becomes your normal. This is where you begin to be comfortable in the discomfort and continue to ride that edge. Okay, this is for the type of woman who is ready to move faster with more ease, more flow, more fun, who is ready to vibrationally connect in with and align to her next level of wealth, impact, influence, freedom, whatever it is. Okay, so if you're ready to choose you, I want to invite you to join into the mastermind. DM me or comment below wherever you're listening or watching, and let's chat about it. There's an application process. There's only 10 spots. I love to keep it very intimate so that when we do have our weekly group calls, our mastermind calls, we can come off mute. We can all be heard and seen and held and called to rise. Okay, this is the vibe inside because we are creative human beings. We're not here to be sedentary. Like I'm messing up my words today. We're not here to stay the same. We're not here to be stagnant. We're here to fucking grow and rise. Okay, so if you have questions, reach out to me directly on Instagram, Facebook, wherever. Let's go. Thank you so much for being here. And I'll see you again on Tuesday. I'll see you inside the mastermind, right? Come DM me your questions. Let's chat about it, apply, and let's rise. The time has come. So exciting. Bye.